Welcome, dear friends, to another study of the Spiritist magazine. Here we are every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We review and reflect in on the teachings of the Superior Spirits as published at the Spiritist magazine. We select one article from the many we have to choose from, and then we dissect it out together, finding the best ways we can apply those teachings in our daily lives, right? This is an application time. As always, I remind everybody to visit spiritistmagazine.org. There you find the link to all of the Spiritist Magazine PDFs, also the link to the app of the Spiritist Magazine, a form to contact the editor in chief, a donation button, and much more. So, spiritistmagazine.org. Dear friends, today's article is from the Spirit Emmanuel. And this article is titled Greatness by Emmanuel. So now I'm sharing with you you may be watching this on YouTube. Here is the way the PDF version of the magazine looks like. If you were to download, if you were to download the document to your computer, it looks slightly different if you were to have the app of the magazine, when you can read all of the issues free of charge at the convenience of whatever you take your small computer with you to study. So here, friends, we have this beautiful publication, all talking about how we are all immigrants, right? We are reincarnated on the earth temporarily, utilizing of the blessed physical body for the different learning opportunities that are presented to us in this lifetime in accordance with our reincarnatory plan. In today's articles, if you scroll all the way to page 16 out of 28, roughly a little past the middle of, you're going to find this article titled Greatness by the Spirit Emmanuel through the blessed mediumship of Francisco Candido Xavier. This message is published or was published in the book Hope and Light by several spirit authors through Chico Xavier. Vanessa Celoni has a beautiful study of these messages on Kardec Radio playlists. Please visit our playlists on YouTube. So today we're going to slowly look at this and have you ever thought about the definition of greatness, dear friends? We sometimes use words and we don't think too much about them or their meaning. So right now we're invited to think about what it means to be great. Emmanuel says, the more time advances in the paths of history, departing from the sublime figure, broader splendor signals his presence. Who is the sublime figure he's talking about? Our dear Master Jesus Christ. He was not a legislator, and his word placed the principles of mercy in the arms of justice. He was not an administrator, but he established in charity the field of fraternal assistance in which the most favored can support the siblings in poverty. He was not a writer, but he inspired and still inspires the most beautiful pages of humanity, right? We are here being inspired by Jesus and his workers to attend this study, to listen to it on demand, to share it, to subscribe, to like, so that the content can be spread to others. And the most beautiful pages are inspired by Christ. I'm going to make a tiny little bigger to facilitate the reading of those. He was not a lawyer, but even today he is the defender of the unfortunates. He was not an engineer, but he continues to build the strongest bridges, designed for rapprochement and relationship amongst individuals, right? Christ was relational. When you read the passages of the New Testament, when you read the books such as Paul and Stephen, Good News, Jesus in the Home, when you watch The Chosen, you see examples of how Christ was always building relationships. So he wasn't many things based on the titles we give out in the world, but he was just so much, right? So he is here. Emmanuel is giving us instructions of what to do in case we are a legislator. Bring the principles of mercy. If you are an administrator, you establish charity in the field of fraternal assistance to favor those who are um, in poverty. If you're writing, you want to be inspired by Christ into writing the most beautiful pages. So everybody's a writer these days because we're all writing. When whatever we choose to share, whatever we choose to watch, the text messages we send, the phone calls we make, the emails we send, we can always look for that inspiration coming from Christ so that our words can be imbued with love and kindness. We're not, if you're a lawyer, maybe you're defending the unfortunates. There are different kinds of lawyers, right? He was not a doctor or a physician, but he goes on healing the ills of the spirit, right? All or the majority, let's say, diseases come from our spirit, from our spiritual body that manifests in the physical body, from the many choices we've made in the past and are making today. So we truly heal when we heal the ills of our spirits, as well as rising the constant lifting of more hospitable and more extensive works of beneficence, capable of extending relief and help to those who are sick. He taught what? The practice of love. See, let's look a little bit here. The inspiration from the mentors for us to study this message. The first few paragraphs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs, he talks about what Jesus was not. But even though he didn't have the titles of the earth, he was doing the work of God in this planet. Now he's going to talk about what one example of what he did. What did Jesus do? He taught the practice of love, renouncing the happiness of being loved. Jesus suffered all of the things that you and I suffer on a daily basis. If you feel betrayed, if you feel abandoned, if you're poor, if you're misunderstood, Jesus experienced that and showed to us how to go through it as the true human, that one day all of us will be as superior spirits living on this earth. He preached what? The extinction of hatred, unconditionally apologizing to all those who outrage his existence, right? So we are here to do the same, using our actions, our words, our thoughts, our intentions to extinguish hatred. We should not hate those who are different from us, whether they are different religion, color of the skin, where they live, what kind of jobs they have, God forbid, what kind of political party they vote for. We want to love everybody. He did not have this or that possession in a human material order, but he enriched the earth with hope and joy, right? Everything we have as a possession in the material realm can make our lives more comfortable. As you saw, you can donate to charity, you can start a hospital, you can have a foundation, you can feed the homeless, clothe them, house them, you can do so much with the material, but the material is ephemeral. Everything that we build today will pass. So it's truly that if we need to enrich ourselves and those around us with hope and joy, and that's a choice. we can make today, and that doesn't cost us anything in the material world. He did not travel on the continents of the planet. Remember, Jesus was constrained to traveling in a very specific area in the Middle East, right? Or a specific region. But he constantly elevated the destiny of community life. Do we constantly elevate the destiny of community life by talking with some needy and destitute people in the limited region where he lived? You today, dear friend, can do the same. We don't need to go and feed the orphans all the way in a different continent. Even though if you can do that, beautiful, wonderful. Support those who do. There are needs in your own community that you can fulfill. Maybe you live in a very wealthy neighborhood and the need is spiritual. The need is emotional, psychological needs. Talk to those who are in need, understand what they have, even if you never travel anywhere. In the spiritual realm, when we return, in none of the books of Andrea Luiz or Emmanuel, we see that they look, oh, beautiful passport, you have 50 stamps. That's not, it doesn't matter. Because we can go to all of those places and do more harm than good or be neutral in a sense. Because if you don't do good, by definition, based on the third part of the Spirit's book, you're doing evil. We can go just to take, instead of giving and enriching, elevating the destiny of community life. We are in the law of society. We are here to fulfill the law of society. We live the law of society. We are here to make the lives of everyone better, not just ours, just not my family's. So that's very important for us to understand that Jesus did it for all of us. Although crucified and regarded as an evildoer, nearly 20 centuries ago, when peoples try to erase his teachings, civilization trembles at its foundation. This man who kept the wisdom and beauty of angels with him is named Jesus Christ. His immense love is God's presence on earth. He's the ambassador of God. He's in communion with God. And he's here to give you and I his immense love. He's already doing it. It's unconditional. He's loving us even when we make mistakes. He's been loving earth and its inhabitants in both realms of life for over 4.5 billion years, which is the age of the earth. So his loving presence, his immense love represents God, and he's loving us, just waiting for us to follow his lead. And his life is and will always be the light of the nations. So, dear friend, let's think about this greatness of Christ who came so lovingly, so kindly to show to us how it's done. And I'm going to remind you that this is issue 48. If you were to visit spiritistmagazine.org, this is This is issue 48. Go and read about greatness, the true definition of greatness. Placing the principles of mercy in the arms of justice, establishing charity and fraternal assistance to those less favored, inspiring the most beautiful pages, defending the unfortunate, building bridges to build this relationship between people, healing ills of the spirit, building hospitals, giving more resources to works of beneficence to relieve those who are sick, practicing love, which is the happiness, renouncing the happiness of being loved, enriching the earth with joy and hope, even if you don't have any material possessions to give up. Preach the extinction of hatred, unconditionally apologizing to those we hurt and forgiving those who have offended us. Jesus' immense love is God's presence on this earth. So my wish for all of us today and throughout the week until we return next week, God willing, and that you in your life can do the same. Look for things to do around you, around us, in our neighborhoods, sometimes even inside our homes, so that we can spread this joy of being a true Christian who is trying to improve each and every day. May you feel Jesus' immense love and God's presence on your life. And I hope that you can stay well, that you can stay safe, that you can reach out to those who you know are in need. And God willing, I'll be back with you next week with another study of the Spiritist magazine. Until then, stay well, dear friends. What a blessing to be with you. See you soon.